Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I received some messages that 5 o'clock today, Saturday evening, for a go live. I'm thinking about my job. For Facebook Live just wasn't really feasible for everyone, so that's cool. I decided I'd just come outside, enjoy some of this nice weather, because it is beautiful here in Omaha today, and I would just shoot the video, give you my information, and let you look at it at your leisurely when you have time. So, first off, let me introduce myself. And I want you to know I have notes. I have a kind of a agenda because I want to make sure I don't miss anything for you. I think this is really important, at least for me. And for those of you that wanted information, I just want to make sure I don't miss some things. And I want to do my best not to string this out a very long time. I know you have a lot of things to do than to just listen to me. So, first, just let me introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Leslie. I've been a nurse for 14 years. I've been an ACE-certified personal trainer for 11. I've been a national and international fitness instructor for 15 years. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a published author. And I am living the keto lifestyle. I've been doing this as well as intermittent fasting since around June, July of last year. So the purpose of this video is simply, as I said before, is just to share my experience, give you some information. There's so much information that's out there now. You really don't need me to tell you what ketosis is, what a ketogenic lifestyle is. But since some of you asked, I'm here to deliver. So also, let me get this out the way, this disclaimer. I am providing this information as a convenience for informational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare providers with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Okay, that is out of the way. Let me tell you that I have been, again, I didn't just jump into this blindly. I've heard about ketogenic lifestyle diet years ago, way back when we lived in Oklahoma. Matter of fact, I think after I did a competition, I forgot to mention that. But those of you that do know me, I've competed in 8-figure competitions. The very first one was a bodybuilding, but didn't like that. Anyhow, so some experience with that. Anyhow, I delved into it I wanted to see how quickly I could lose body fat. And I remember just eating like bacon and eggs for like a whole week straight. And it was pretty amazing. I definitely was more insulin sensitive at that time. And so the weight just like literally came right off. So anyhow, I didn't think at the time it was feasible, something that I think I could do a long term. So anyhow, I have been looking and really following a couple, mainly 3 or so physicians. And then I also found a couple other people on YouTube. There's so many YouTubers. But consider your source. Definitely strongly. Whether you watch this video, you've heard about it, you don't believe in it, you've tried it, it didn't work. Please, by all means, I am not saying that this is the way to live. This is what I choose to do because it works for me. We all have different metabolisms. Our body has different metabolic processes. Depending on how healthy you are or unhealthy you are, if you have medical conditions, you're already suffering from obesity, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, all kinds of things. Find what works for you. So if you already know this is not something you're interested in, please, you can just push stop, pause, delete, whatever you'd like to do. I won't be upset at all. But I followed, looked up research-wise, Dr. Westman. I want to forget. So Dr. Eric Westman, he's from Duke University. Dr. Jeff Folick from Ohio State University. And then, of course, Dr. Stephen Finney, who is a physician scientist. And so because I'm a nurse, I've always been taught cars and educated on following research and considering the source. What kind of study was it? What was this? The size of the study, participants, and all kinds of stuff. But again, I don't want to make this a boring video for you, but I really delve into a lot of research for them. They also, let me tell you, I have the book Keto Clarity. I highly recommend this for those of you that are really interested, and you should do your research. Do your own research. You have to take responsibility for your own health. And anything you do, you have to take responsibility for. So don't say, well, Leslie said, so I'm going to do it. I'm honored that you would just do something I said. But if that's the case, just send me some money. I'll take that, because I'm kind of laid up with an injury and I ain't got no job right now. But anywho, so those are who, and they also have a book, The Art and Science of Low Carb Living. So Dr. Stephen Finney, Dr. Eric Westman, and Dr. Jeff Folick. Those are world-renowned. Anyone that does keto, that you know someone that's done it, they've heard of these guys. These are the people to do your research. The research is really, it gets a little scientific and could be major boring to some of you, but there's some straightforward information as well. So, okay, what is ketosis? To put it simply, it's a metabolic process in which your body uses stored body fat on your hips, thighs, wherever you hold it at, as well as ingested fat, whether I'm eating an avocado or coconut oil, olive oil, bacon, ghee, butter, whatever. The body will use that to use and make energy instead of carbs, sugar. So I have been doing keto for some time now. I've been keto adapted, I'm happy to say. There's a difference being in a state of ketosis. So that's what the body does when you are in ketosis and you are living and keto adapted. The body, in order to be in ketosis, in order for the body to use fat as fuel, first, the liver has to be emptied of its glycogen. We store sugar, glucose, in our liver and our muscles. The liver has to be emptied of it. Once it's emptied of it, the body starts to process fatty acids, fat in our body, and breaks it down into ketone bodies. That's where you get the whole ketones. There's 3 places that you produce ketones. Well, it's produced. You will see ketones in your urine in the form of acetoacetate, breath, acetone. So for those of you, my nurse colleagues, if you remember, whenever we had those patients that were in ketoacidosis that had that fruity acetone type breath, and then also in the blood in the form of beta hydroxybutyrate, it's just BHB. So those are 3 ketone bodies that the body can make, that the liver can make. But the liver has to be depleted of its glycogen first. So you can't just say, I'm in ketosis because I started this diet. The liver glycogen has to be emptied. So then it will use fat as energy. The body cannot use fat for energy at the same time as carbs. So it's one or the other. The body can't run on both. It's always going to take up glucose. It's the way our body's been, the way we've been formed now. We've changed so much from the old paleo days where you didn't ingest glucose and carbs and sugars all day long. I mean, there was no fast foods for people to go to. There was no drive-through. You only ate whatever you caught when you were out hunting. So it really goes back into thinking in that way, but we've evolved. Now we've evolved. Well, it's 2017. We have a major epidemic of type 2 diabetes, obesity. 2/3 of Americans are overweight. Well, why is that? Following the SAD diet. Sad. Very sad. The standard American diet. I will tell you, I mean, honestly, this went against everything I learned as a nurse, from my nutrition classes, as a personal trainer, things I would tell my clients. You got to eat every 2 and 3 hours. The thermic effect of feeding. You got to keep your energy up. You got to keep your metabolism going. Put more fuel in the fire. Against everything. That's why I think I've taken so much time to really get into the research and know and understand what really happens into the body when I'm eating butter or bacon, vegetables, asparagus, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, tomato. I mean, no starchy carbs. When you limit the carbs, your body has to run off of something. If there was no alternate fuel source, we would just die if you did not have glucose and sugar. But the body's amazing. That's why people can fast. Lots of people fast, cultural reasons, spiritual reasons, and you don't die. because you don't eat, whether it's fasting for a short amount of times or fasting for weeks and days. So intermittent fasting, that's a whole different video I'll do with you. I don't want to give you too much at one time. It would just be too confusing. So that is ketosis in a nutshell. That's the ketogenic way of living, is by limiting glucose and carbs on a day-to-day basis, making your body burn off of ingested fat or body fat. Okay, breaks it down. You can only be one or the other. You're a sugar burner for carbs, or you a fat burner. I'd rather use my fat because I have a lot of it, especially stored. Oh, it's back there, trust me. I'd rather burn that off than anything else. Okay, so how do you get into ketosis? Well, you have to follow a low carb, high fat diet. And there's so much information out there, don't let it confuse you. The keto diet really is low carb, high fat. About 75% of your calories come from fat, 5% carbs, and 20% protein. So it's not a high protein diet. The body will run efficiently on dietary fats. You want proteins, but if the body takes in too much protein, it can convert it into carbs and glucose. So that's something you have to be aware of. Every single person will react differently on this diet. Every single person, because we are not all alike. So what I can eat, you may not be able to. Some people can get away and be in ketosis and keto adapted and be running on running on ketones, and they can ingest 50 to 100 grams of carbs a day. When I started out, and everyone's starting out, you really, just to give your rule of thumb, 75, 20, and 5% for carbs. And then as you get into ketosis, and it can take 1 to 2 weeks, really is all it really takes. Some will get in sooner, and it depends on your food choices. Some people just cannot break away from carbohydrates. Starchy carbs. I'm not talking about vegetables. Some vegetables have more carbs than others, so you have to be diligent. You have to be responsible. If it's a diet that you want to follow. And again, Ruled Me is one of the websites I used an awful lot in the beginning because it has charts. So I can see this vegetable has these many carbs per serving, or this much fat is on these types of meats and things like that. So you got to know what you're taking in. And then once you know, you're really not limited. I mean, that was why I chose this diet. And those of you that have competed in figure competitions or bodybuilding, or even if you have not, when you wanted to lose weight and you sought out a personal trainer or you went to your doctor, they always told us, low fat. Get your good carbs in. Eat 3 meals a day. 2 healthy snacks. When I was competing, that's how I was able to get down to 9% body fat. But I was so limited and I felt deprived. I enjoyed getting on the stage because of my results, but it took so much work. I felt deprived. I could never go anywhere. I didn't want to be around anybody because they're all eating these amazing types of foods. And here, I can't eat anything that's fun. I mean, I want to live and I want to enjoy life. I don't want to be limited, and that's what's missing for me. So this works great. Nope, no thank you, babe. So this is perfect. I mean, I get to have yummy butter and big fat steaks with the fatty steaks, the ribeyes. I like chicken breast, but oh my God, I think I got so sick of chicken breast all the years from competing. I eat chicken thighs and legs. I mean, I do eat chicken breast, but I put heavy whipping cream and cheese and yummy good stuff. I don't feel deprived at all. I eat nuts. I eat vegetables. Instead of baked potatoes, I swear I make a mean macaroni and cheese, and it's from cauliflower. I made shrimp fried rice the other day, and my sister and nephew didn't even know it was from cauliflower. Just making simple changes. I'm not missing bread. There's recipes for keto bread. I use the white flour, the processed gluten, all that stuff is gone. That's what's wrong. Carbs, gluten causes inflammation. Carbs, I'm not trying to give carbs a bad name by any means, but sugar, there is an epidemic. And if you don't think it's carbs and sugar, well, what do you eat Are you happy with your results? And again, I'm specifically talking about mine. I ate like normal. I'd have cereal, oatmeal, I'd measure, I was just on a roller coaster. I was on a yo-yo diet. Off and on, depending on what I was doing. And I just hated it. This works for me. It may not work for you. But if you're someone that's struggling with obesity, with your weight, no matter, you go to the gym and you bust your butt, this diet is great for people, even if you are, maybe you're so overweight, your joints and knees, and you're not able to exercise. Or maybe you just have issues and you just don't want to go to the gym. This is a diet that works. It has nothing to do with, even if you did go to the gym. Personal trainers, we all know, results aren't made in the gym. They're made in the kitchen. You can't out-train a bad diet. So no matter how beast mode you go into the gym, if you come home and you're not eating the low fat, the chicken breast and the broccoli and the major boring foods, to me, I wasn't getting the results. So, okay. So once you know what ketosis is, you have to change your diet. You have to decrease the carbohydrates, get good fats from the form of butter. I love Kerrygold butter. I love the Irish butter, whether it's salted or unsalted. It's easy to measure, and I use it in my coffee. There's this thing called bulletproof coffee. People do that. If you're someone that loves coffee, I put it in my tea. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are good, healthy fats. Avocados. Salmon, good, healthy fats. I added those things. Okay, so it takes about, like I said, 1 to 2 weeks to get in a state of ketosis. So how do you know? Okay, good question. Yeah. Okay, so again, I told you about the 3 ways where the ketone bodies are made. Once they break down, they're either in your urine, your breath, or in your bloodstream. So you have to measure them. Do you have to measure to be in ketosis? We call it testing. You don't have to. It depends on how serious you are about it. The reason why, again, depends on who you are, and do you have any comorbidities? Do you have medical issues? Do you have medical diseases, diagnoses? Are you someone that's been struggling with your weight for years? I don't know. Are you just someone that wants to lose 5 or 10 pounds? You're going on vacation in a month and you want to rock out all this body fat. Hey, you don't have to. But if you're serious about it, I think you should test. So keto, think of it as you want to test so that you know if you're in it. If you're getting results, if you are, I test through, I used to do with the keto sticks. They're super, super cheap. It's a way that you can test. It can be accurate and then not accurate. It can fluctuate so much. Depends if you're dehydrated. Are you overhydrated? Sometimes that will really make someone depressed. They'll get upset. They'll say the diet doesn't work because they went to the bathroom and there's nothing showing on the keto stick. You have to get a breath analyzer to test the acetone in your breath, to get a measurement to see if you're in ketosis. Or, again, the keto meter. So it's almost like, if you're diabetic, you check your blood sugar. Well, they have ones that just check your ketones. And so in ketosis, if you're in the metabolic process of ketosis, you will range between 0.5 to 3 millimoles on the measuring. And so because I wanted to know, and because I'm still experimenting, with certain carbs and certain foods. So I will eat certain things on purpose just to see if that took me out of ketosis. I have found that even if I've strayed, we went to, those of you that know, we went to Jamaica. I didn't eat ketogenically the entire time. I think I might have had half a bagel for breakfast, but we just ate and we drank a lot. Oh, that's what I'm sorry. I love a good cocktail. I love my wine. There's a keto guide. Alcohol, no sugar. Yes, there's calories, but there's no sugar. Doesn't stimulate insulin response. Sugars stimulate insulin response, but I can drink and I can have my alcohol, and that's what I did. But the point of, now because I know I am keto adapted, my body, I can go in and out of ketosis, and I'm still efficiently running off of ketones. for energy. Okay, so why would you want to do ketosis? Well, increase mental clarity. Again, think about what's one of the many benefits and why people do follow a ketogenic lifestyle. My grandmother has dementia. My grandmother's also diabetic. My mother's diabetic. Because I have risk factors, I want to do all I can to not get those things. And it's weird because sometimes I always think I can't remember things. My husband will remind me, how do you not know that? We just did that. And I will forget. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I know there is protection in the neurons. The brain can and will and does and prefers to run off ketones. Now, the brain does need a little bit of glucose. It does. You don't need to take it in. The body will make it on its own. It's a process called gluconeogenesis. The body will take protein and turn it into carbohydrates, glucose. It will use it that way. So the body will make what it needs. The body is very smart and protective. Increase in body composition, because you think about it. Your body's burning fat for fuel. You don't have to go to the gym and work out crazily. I still work out because I love working out. If you work out on this way of eating, this way of living, you're even going to get results even much faster. You definitely get into ketosis quicker because you're going to help yourself deplete your glycogen stores. That's with movement or fasting. But some people can't imagine not eating, and I understand that. So mental clarity, increased fat loss. With that is weight loss. Appetite suppression. I'm never really hungry. Sometimes I have to remind myself to eat. And that's the thing. I don't let the clock determine when I should eat. Oh, it's breakfast. Oh, wait, it's lunchtime. Oh, it's dinner time. I eat when I'm hungry. Fat, proteins really produce satiety. I get full so quick. And that's when, if I find I'm really hungry, I'll add some extra fat on my food. It's amazing. I have to remember to eat. So, of course, carbs, not pretty low existent. Every day is different. Sometimes if I'm working out, that's a day for me. I know I'm finding my carb threshold. I can have more carbs. So maybe, I'm not saying you can never have brown rice or breads and all those things. First, think about it. There are some healthier choices. So I'm telling you, I'm not discounting anything on the food pyramid, okay? I'm saying I love enjoying more fat. You can follow the RDA that tells you a little bit of fat at the bottom. I'm going to just shovel all that in my face and enjoy every single part of it. Again, I don't feel deprived at all, any means. Told you how to test, again, starting out, but you don't have to. There's lots of schools of thoughts out there. Dr. Westman says you don't have to test if you don't want to. You will know you're in ketosis, okay? First, when you first start off, you're going to be a little cranky because your body has been running off of sugar, glucose your entire life. Think about it. That's how you move. You're always eating some form of carbohydrates, right? And we tell you, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Whether it's a bagel and half a banana. Think of all that glucose that you ingested. Insulin is the main culprit here. I apologize. I don't think I even mentioned about insulin yet. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. As long as you have a normal functioning pancreas, your body makes insulin. Some of us, our body makes insulin more efficiently and it uses it more efficiently. Some of us are more sensitive, some are more insensitive. That's how you end up with type 2 diabetes. The body's like, hey, when you take in sugar, say a bagel and half a banana, the body starts to digest it. Well, now you've got all this glucose, this sugar in the bloodstream. Insulin is released by the pancreas to get the sugar out of the bloodstream. If it didn't do that, you could die. Ask any type 1 diabetic that doesn't have functioning pancreas that has to inject insulin all the time because their body doesn't make it. So it brings down the blood sugar in the body. Well, insulin also opens up the cells and it pushes fat into the cells, glucose, all of those things. If the body doesn't need it for energy, if you are just having breakfast, a big fat bagel and whatever, donut, and your body doesn't need it for energy, it's going to store it for later. That's how it's so easy to gain weight. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. You can't help it. It's a hormone. It's in our bodies. But that's the role that it plays. So if you stop bringing and taking in sugars and glucose, carbohydrates, your insulin level stays steady. Yes, protein can elicit an insulin response, but not as great as carbs and sugar. Fat, no insulin response. Insulin doesn't have to do anything with fats. That's why this is an amazing diet for me. I eat this way. I'll always eat this way. I'll never go back to eating breads and pastas and cereals. Will I ever eat them? Not saying I won't never eat them, but it will not be a staple of my diet. I won't be a sugar burner. I want to use fat for fuel. The energy that you get, imagine, so those of you that follow me, you know, like I'll work out. Today we worked out and I was, I think it was about a 12-hour fast. Might have been 16 hours. I have to remember the last time I ate. I didn't buy it because I'm not anal. I'm not looking at the clock and doing everything, writing down everything I'm doing. I did in the beginning, so I wanted to make sure I was doing this correctly. But I've fasted 24 hours before and gone into the gym and went beast mode because my body doesn't need glucose and carbs for fuel. It has fat, stored fat. So that's the amazing thing. Ketones fuel your body. I have a lot of it. Now, if you're someone that's very thin, the ketogenic diet, way of life eating is not really for you. Athletes do it. LeBron James did it for a while. Kim Kardashian. You know, all these people jump on these fad diets. It's not a fad diet. This, and again, research is really starting to step up now. They're starting to see how the ketogenic diet treats so many disease states. It can't be bad. There's nothing bad about the ketogenic diet except one thing I can tell you, and you'll probably hear about it or experience. It's called the keto flu. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get it, but you'll feel kind of lethargic. Think about it. Your body's been using sugar and glucose. Do you know when you ingest carbohydrates and sugar, the feeling that you get, that euphoric feeling, this yummy, it hits the same center of the brain that drugs do. So think of a drug addict. They take a hit, they come down the high, they want more. The brain tells them they need more. Just like the brain tells you need to eat more. That's why you're constantly, I'm hungry. No, you're not. The brain thinks you are because it was satisfied by that. So it's the same center that hits the brain that drugs do. So it's kind of sad, right? We're addicted. I mean, I was one of them. I was, but I won't anymore. So what kind of foods can you eat? Again, you need to get a food list if you really want one of those that you want to carry something with you. Like I said, Ruled Me has one online. It's great. It just tells you every carb, vegetable, the most common ones. And it tells you the actual limits on them. So when you're starting out, you should try to, if you have a lot of body fat to lose, a lot of weight to lose, it works. The keto diet does work. What happens is people lose all this weight, then they go back. I miss my bread, I miss my pasta, I miss my spaghetti, I miss those types of heavy carb, sugar foods. As soon as you eat them, what's going to happen? Insulin goes up, fat storage hormone turned on. The body is not going to burn it for energy unless it needs it. So if you're constantly eating, the body doesn't need, you have excess energy, and that's why it's so easy to gain weight and so hard to lose it. Okay, let me see. I think I covered mostly everything. So again, what diet is going to work for you? Any diet that works for you, that you can continually follow. You enjoy it. You don't feel deprived. It's giving you success. It's changing the way you view nutrition. One that you will stick to. That's it, bottom line. One that you will stick to. Again, a keto diet is not going to harm you. Now, if you're type 1 diabetic, even if you're type 2, you have hypertension, if you have liver disease, if you have kidney disease, please talk with your provider. And you have to know, a lot of physicians, doctors are not taught nutrition in medical school. Even as nursing, I mean, it's like a semester of nutrition for us. So, it's when people think of ketosis, they think of ketoacidosis. That is not you. If you are not a type 1 diabetic, you cannot get into ketoacidosis. That's when the blood sugar is so high and the ketones are so high. You're only going to produce ketones if you're following a ketogenic diet. That's a life. That could end your life. That's not going to happen. Trust me. Don't confuse the two. I just want you to think of this as an option. If you've been, like I was, a yo-yo dieter, or maybe you're not a yo-yo dieter, but you just want to improve your mental focus. You want to sleep better. I don't have any inflammation. My joints don't hurt. I don't get bloated. I mean, it is amazing when you stop taking in inflammatory foods, certain carbs, gluten, sugars that are damaging the body, the cells. It makes you think and stop and say, how can I change this? So try it out. Give it 2 to 4 weeks. You have to give it at least 4 weeks because it's going to take you at least a week or two, some sooner than others, to get into ketosis. And then you want to get keto adapted, where your body is always running on ketones, using fat for fuel. You cannot do that if you are still ingesting too many carbohydrates. The body's going to choose sugar over ketones because that's the way we've been conditioned. It's going to do that. That's what it's been. You've been doing this forever. The body has to get used to it. So take a look at the video. Give me your feedback. If you have negative feedback, please don't. Life is too short. Don't waste your energy telling me what I'm saying is wrong or it doesn't make sense or please don't do it for yourself. Don't waste the energy. I don't want you to waste energy on me. Please don't. It's just here for information. It's just a start. That's all. I want to give you a start, something to think about. If you have questions, comments, I'll look at the video. I'll read the comments. Again, I know it's Saturday and I didn't really want to do a go live. I keep saying go live. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to do a Facebook live because I didn't want to try to entertain questions and answer. I wanted to get this out the way. I may have missed some things, but I got my agenda in front of me. I think I've kind of covered mostly everything. So let me know what you think. Next week, I'm going to do a video on the intermittent fasting, the benefits of that. Amazing. So maybe this won't be a diet for you, a way of eating, because it is just that. I want to see things that you can do in the long haul. Change your metabolic process. I mean, doesn't that just sound awesome? It does for me. And I love it. I have so much energy. And it's crazy because I don't need the energy from carbs. I mean, who would have thought? Fat. My own body fat. Ketones. All of it was just so foreign to me. But anyhow, I'm just going to